Right, we are on the North Island. I'm catching up with Andrew Greason from Woodlands Stud. Firstly, Andrew, welcome.
How are you? You good?
Very well. Just might get you to pick that up a little bit just so people can hear you and all the rest. Big announcements happened last Friday in regards to the single most biggest stimulus, if you like, for harness racing, and trying to get as many people's thoughts and perspective of them. You come from a unique background. One, you got the vets, I suppose, so you got the history of where the industry's been at, but of course Woodlands Stud, standing stallions, racing horses as well, but then also the Sires Stakes Board, who are a major contributor to this, one of the four pillars, if you like, of these announcements. Firstly, from your own personal point of view, how did you receive the news when you first found out about it?
Found out about what?
The money that was going to be injected back into harness racing.
Oh, we knew that there was money going to be injected into harness racing, just like there'd been money earlier injected into thoroughbred racing.
Yep.
And then it was just getting everything sorted and organised, and full credit to Harness Racing New Zealand and the people they got involved with that, John Mooney and others. And so I'm a newbie on the Sires Stakes Board. I've been chairman for just 2 years or whatever. And so it's an old brand in New Zealand. It's been around for 40 plus years.
Yep.
And it's been successful at the high end especially. And we've tried to make it more across the board so that more people get a bite of the pie and buy into it, and that's worked quite well for us. But ultimately, we're giving good carrots for the elite horses, and so this has been a great chance for us, with working in conjunction with Entain and Harness Racing New Zealand, to use some of our reserves to turn around and really put some decent money into those races.
Does it excite you, though, as a harness person, that the fact that all of a sudden people are working together and trying to stimulate the racing product?
Yeah, it does. Look, someone always said to me, a lot of the time change happens when everyone's down on their knees, and I think, people can be complacent while they think, it's going okay, and maybe it's not. But, we really needed something dramatically to happen in New Zealand across the thoroughbred and the standardbred code, and especially our code. And so this is fantastic what's happened. Yeah,
it's quite interesting. I come from Victoria, and things we're on our knees, I suppose, if you like, in Victoria, and we need that stimulus. And I think it's encouraging because a lot of jurisdictions in the racing code, and I'm not going to sink the boots into harness racing or harness racing Victoria or anyone. The racing code is got to change. We have to adapt and have to change. The motto they put out is the future starts now, because they're aware that if they don't start it now, we could be in all sorts of trouble. And when I say we, harness racing in New Zealand, but also the racing product in New Zealand. So it is a concerted effort to stimulate racing, but also betting turnover, which is quite a unique way to work in, and that's where the Entain product comes in with it.
Yeah, I think taking a statement out of someone who was been involved with the industry a long time. Racing's a really interesting and simple game. People bet, and then the money goes through an air. Yep. And we can't ever lose sight of that. So we have to have the right product. I don't claim to be a handicapper. I don't claim to be able to work out fields and all that, but from a business point of view, what's happening now with Entain being involved is fantastic for the whole racing industry in New Zealand.
It's designed to stimulate. There's been money directly put back here to Auckland to stimulate it. Auckland's such an important part of harness racing in New Zealand, probably an important part of the Southern Hemisphere, really. We want Auckland because it's the biggest city in New Zealand, and we want to have, and it's got probably one of the most unique and probably best tracks to watch races from, I think. There's so many upsides to it. Yep, there's a lot of negative stuff that's happened, if you like, over recent times, but to stimulate racing and get people back involved in harness racing on the North Island is imperative.
Yeah, I think some of the stats that came out was that I was told was that 80% of all betting in New Zealand is basically from Rotorua north.
Yep.
And harness were probably underperforming in that area compared to what they're doing down the South Island, and so that was a good growth area for Entain and obviously for us to be involved with. So yeah, it's great. I mean, I'm an Aucklander. I'm quite proud of that. I have no quite happy to be called a Jaffa, and so and for that to happen in my time is great. And I think it'll work. There's obviously some hurdles to in moving horses and having the right number of horses for the races that are up here, but people, trainers and drivers follow the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things. People might say they're not going to go there, but when they see the money's on offer, the fields, I'm sure they'll start coming. There'll be
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's, I think, one of the great things about it. And as I've said a couple of times, I've lived in Melbourne, and we used to have harness racing at Moonee Valley, and it's gone out to Melton, and I can tell you it's not the greatest thing just to sell everything up and move it. And structurally, where Alexandra Park is, it's just prime time.
Yeah, I think that's worldwide, that they've seen that racing, you have to actually bring the racing to the people. People aren't going to come to the races unless it's right there. And I think that was also really important when you're looking at what's done with trackside, that we owned Friday night so that we could have a sort of a carnival type situation every Friday night. People knew that was going on, just like everyone knows that thoroughbreds on Saturday is the real go and feed from New Zealand and Australia, and so doing that, I think, that both the two clubs have to be really successful to make harness racing successful, and so working in partnership on that is a really good thing that's happened.
And it's actually harness racing in general. It's the person that's about to go out and harness up a horse, or that are watching this. We have to be professional. We have to realise what we've got, get rid of all the negative press. Let's work together and try and drive this industry in the right direction. Yeah,
and I think that obviously when things are going really well, then people take on excellence and rise to the occasion, and we'll see that. It's good to see it in my time anyway.
A lot more mares races being offered up. I think last year Woodlands sponsored 41. I think they're going to try and have 150 both gates. From a stud point of view, that must give you some great confidence, because breeding numbers are dwindling. But if there's if there's enough mares and fillies to put these races on, that's going to mean there's going to be more mares wishing to breed later on.
Yeah, look, it's a really difficult one, isn't it? Breeding is it's an expensive thing to do. It's often hard if you're a seller, having the depth in the buyer's bench to actually get overs at times, which you need to do because you have plenty of unders as well. And so having these races, it's really important. Those fillies and mares that end up being good performers and become stud horses, and some of the others that are well connected also do it. And you just need those sort of numbers. And to put money into that is really important.
And it's quite ironic. Like, I was watching a race the other day with a friend, and I think 6 out of the 10 runners at Menangle on a Tuesday afternoon had the NZ moniker after them. So if breeding numbers continue to drop in New Zealand, it's going to have this massive flow-on effect, whether Australia want to admit it or not. It is going to have a massive flow-on effect on the product to you guys' closest neighbour. Yeah,
look, we're an Australasian racing industry. We're not Australia and New Zealand. They're combined. From a stud's point of view, I think it was last year was the first time that we bred, I think, 20 or 30 more mares in Australia than we did in New Zealand. And so we identify it's really important. And Mark Hughes and Belinda that are over there work for us. They've done a really good job for us, and it's really important that we get our breeding numbers to sustain the racing that's happening. Yeah. And I don't think they're quite there at the moment.
No, but the flip side of that is what New Zealand has put out is quality as well. Some of the best bred horses in Australasia. There's, got that NZ name next to them, or moniker next to them, or if not, it's only a generation away.
Yeah, like, I think ourselves and the other big studs have identified that's an international market, and that having those big guns from America coming down and big stud horses has changed the whole breed fundamentally. I mean, it's just they're better horses, they're faster horses, they're better gated, and we just that will continue. I'm sure. And we produce really good horses. Both countries can go anywhere and be competitive.
That's
and
it.
the trotting is coming up too. That was something that lagged behind for a long time.
And back to those fillies races, there's 150 both gates. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
that's the part. And see where there is a growth. There's a simple growth area.
Yes.
The world's gate, as either Duncan or Pat tell me quite regularly, that it is the world's gate, and it is. It's all around the world, so it actually can grow. I don't know if you knew, but I had a conversation with Adam Bowden from Diamond Creek, and there's two mares going to come down with the stallions this year, and they'll reside at Arden Lodge. And basically, Adam, said there that Diamond Creek want to invest in our industry. We quite often, when we live in that industry, and I suppose we surround ourselves with people like-minded in it, we get so negative about it. But when one of the leading studs in North America's wanting to come down under, we sort of sell our product a bit short, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few people. Tom Grayson's got a mare down here. There's Mike Tanney's got race horses. There's quite a few people that sort of go under the radar that don't realise what's going on. And Adam's been down here a few times and obviously decided that he wanted to be part of the action as well, which is great.
Yep.
I mean, the more the merrier.
Yeah.
And he's hoping he'll have all the success he hopes he can get.
Well, I think there's a lot of studs that are no longer with us and have less numbers. Some of the great names of New Zealand studs are no longer around, and potentially Diamond Creek might set up here. I think that would be a great bolster in the arm for so many people.
Yeah, look, I've always said to people when you're looking at the mare numbers and they drop 150, which they have sort of year on year. That's like a stud just disappears every year.
Yeah.
It's been going on for decades, and we need people to invest in our industry, and more the merrier.
Yeah.
And after all, they're staying down here. They're part of our whole industry, and so it's not like it's coming in and out of the industry that's going to be here. And so for those people to breed and race down here, it's great.
The size stakes, again, you're the chair?
Chairman, yeah.
And I spoke with Martin the other day, and the importance about paying up for it and growing it. It is so important that breeders, when they are thinking about it, they tick the box with the yearlings, if they haven't been fully paid up for when they buy them at a yearling sales, to fully pay up for them, because who knows what could happen in 2 or 3 years. Like, they could be racing for, another massive cash injection.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the moment we've just, dumped 600,000 down on our races, and I mean, it's huge value for what they are, because originally we were only just age group racing, 2 and 3, and then we've gone into older groups of horses to try and spread the money around, and trotters, and we've managed the Caduceus Club, because we've got good structures in place to manage things properly, and also and help with harness racing. With New Zealand Bloodstock in their race as well. And full credit to Martin Pearson. He does a fantastic job for us, and is very passionate about the industry, and has been part of our success in recent years.
I think that's one of the things when I see so much, or not so much, but people who think they know the answers and all the rest, and they say certain things, they probably don't realise how many people some of these things do affect. Like, same thing, if you drop 10 mares, that's probably one girl working for your yearling sales, maybe weanling sales as well. Same thing for Alabar and things along those lines. Like, the industry needs to grow, because there is so many layers of it. It's not just the trainer and the driver who are going to be getting the cash injection. It's the flow-on effect that it has right through the whole industry.
And that's why it's so important that stakes money, $10 million injected in, which is just huge, to give that confidence for people to invest, to breed, and to race, and the flow-on effect, as you say, is employment. We're one of the largest, as an industry, one of the largest employers in New Zealand.
Yep.
And
the length and breadth of it too, all the way. So that's the other part about it. It employs so many people, so many places.
In a lot of rural communities, which so So that's important as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's great, and I think well done to the Sire Stakes board for getting involved, or Sire Stakes, because I think we're trying to drop the board off, but the Sire Stakes for getting involved, and well done to everyone else behind the scenes that has been pushing to get this cash injection. Put your Woodlands hat on for a minute. You did say you didn't want to put one on, but I actually I did. And you're going to look after another one of my sponsors, the Harasta Trotters, the Great Square on Saturday night coming up, though, for one of your employees, Stacey, Markham and David. Bet and win. I'm sure you one. I imagine you're pretty proud. One, they've got one of your own horses, or buy one of your own horses that's going into the race there. But you must be so proud of a person who's such a loyal servant, if you like, of Woodlands.
Yeah, Stacey's done a fantastic job, and obviously her and David have got multi talents. They've picked that horse out of Brecon Farms.
Yep.
By outside What the Hill, and Breckons have been very, very loyal and very helpful to us, and love the trotters, and been very supportive of What the Hill especially.
Yeah.
So it's a fairy tale for them. I just hope they win the Group 1. It'd be just fantastic.
It's quite ironic. We were saying there just before, they're probably one of their main dangers is a bettor's delight. it's in the trotters, the trotting ranks, isn't it?
Yeah, well, he's had a few Group 1 trotters, actually.
Yeah, I think
Australia and...
He's had maybe 8 to 10 anyway, individual Group 1 winners, which is just an amazing number for the trotters.
Yes, that's right. Well, not only him, Captain Treacherous got a Group 1 winner too, isn't he, just recently, which a lot of people in America would shake their heads.
Well, there was one train not around here, not that far. She was a pretty nice man. On What the Hill, though, he continues to get the job done, and we're not here to sell services and things like that, but he's just doing an amazing job. He's won the Northern Derby the last 2 years in a row. He's leaving horses like Bet and Win. It can be, we were saying there before about the trotters, it can be a slow burn with these trotters. You sometimes just got to be a little bit patient, don't you?
Yeah, look, I mean, part of the trouble is when you invest in a stallion like him, like we did, is that the number of mares between the two countries makes it really hard.
Yeah.
And, if you have a really fashionable sire, you might hit 100 mares.
Yeah.
And when you consider that our freight bill to shuttle a horse like that is not insignificant. It's it really eats into making break even.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. So anyway, he's on the big stage, and he's
look, it's great, and it's and I hope that What the Hill just keeps on going, because when you look in New Zealand, where he's obviously had more numbers than they have in Australia, because it's an interesting stallion market, that one, because there's so many choices in frozen semen and not so many choices in chilled semen, and so the number of mares that some sires get is minimal, yet there's some very good sires amongst that lot, so it's very competitive. And not to say that the pacing's not, but we have a lot more chilled horses involved with that, chilled semen horses, shall I say. And
it's the evolution of so many different sire lines that are coming through as well. It changes it up, and then now some of those daughters of some of these horses we never heard of are reaching it as well. Just quickly, Wim was saying before there about studs and less. Woodlands haven't increased their stallion roster, I'm going to say, for 2 years. I reckon you've had the same lot of boys for 2, and unfortunately this year it actually decreases with the passing of American Ideal, albeit that the frozen semen is there. You guys are still in the industry for the long haul?
Absolutely.
A lot of people try to say that because you're not getting any more, that's going to be it.
No, not at all. I mean, we're sort of in an interesting era at the moment when you look at it, because everyone's saying, there's so many better light horses that was going to ruin the breed and all that sort of stuff. But actually, when you look at it, he's yet to relieve a successful son.
Yep.
And so, sure, he's got a lot of better light broodmares out there, and they're very easy to outcross with this sire and that sire. And immediately they go on the next line so much easier than if you have a sire can be much more dominant, obviously, than a mare can. So, and then when you're looking at the sire line, the most successful sire line at the moment in the world, who would think that Mach 3 through Sun Beach and then Captain Treacherous, and we've got down by the seaside, and when you especially when you look in Australia, I mean, Christ, you've got 16, 17 individual options, whether chilled or frozen. So for us, just getting our head around where is the next
Which way to go
sire is we're still, we're definitely in a long game.
Yeah, almost.
And so I've just got to get my thinking cap back on again and just work out where I need to go for the next outcross. And we've got horses, obviously, like Sweet Lou, who's going to really maximise that sort of that cross through, or that Mach 3 line he crosses well with that. He crosses well with the Better Light. And so, and I think myself and the other commercial studs are all looking at, where is the next sire that's going to be able to be the outcross that helps the industry and helps the stud.
We're a little bit funny, aren't we? We are a bit of followers in a way, because I think there's 5 now sons of Sweet Lou going to be standing at stud this year. Like, it's quite funny, because a long time people were saying, Sweet Lou, we don't know that cross, we don't want to use it. Now all of a sudden it's right across the world, and as you say, it's Captain Treacherous and those horses. But we are followers. There's no, because you were talking before about Mach 3, like being followers. Everyone said they didn't want to go to him in the end.
Yes, I mean, Sweet Lou's got to go a long way before he gets to the to the saturation that we have with the Seaside, the Sun Beach Mach 3 line. But yes, well, he's a genuine outcross. And obviously, just absolutely hitting the straps in both countries. And we had our knockers when we brought him down. We had our knockers after 1 year when there were quite a lot of yearlings and people weren't sure whether they're going to make it or not. There's no one knocking him now.
No, there is. No, don't worry. That's a harness industry, because they can. Just one more thing before I do let you go. Betters is well. I know you went down there to see him. It's been announced that he's going to fly back here, and that'll be his last flight. He won't know what to do with himself when winter hits, but everything's tracking along well with him. Yeah,
it's been 15, 16 seasons where he hasn't had a true winter, but I can tip you. He wouldn't want to have a winter in Canada.
No.
I mean, here we are in the middle of winter, outside talking, coming into
6 o'clock
into the evening, and it's not. And so, I mean, our environment in Auckland is very temperate, and we never get snow, and I'm sure he'll enjoy it. He's always enjoyed when he's been down here. Yes, and I went up to Canada and had a look at him, and we scanned him. He'd had an injury and a hematoma on one of his testicles, which had organised and interfered with his sperm quality, and that has resolved even more again. So we're quietly hopeful that everything will be back to normal. His health, his blood tests, everything like that is just where it was before, and so he'll hopefully have a great retirement down here, and also be able to have a bit of fun in the stud season as well. And
he will be standing as chilled seaman.
Yes, he will. Yes,
there's a lot of people saying that he'll be standing, but it'll be all pre-collected, frozen. But he actually will be still, if he can. Yeah. And we've got to be careful because
well, time will tell. I mean, he all the shuttle horses come in a little bit later. They come in about the 26th of August this year. We'll be collecting him from the time he lands on the farm, which is the 26th, and we'll be ready to go whatever Monday, Wednesday, Friday is in September, from the first start of September, and shipped to Australia as well as New Zealand straight away at the start of September. And I'm sure he'll go. How long will he last for? He's been a very healthy horse, but
unfortunately,
who knows? But he's, hopefully he'll enjoy his being here over winter and just live out his life and we hope forever. I mean, I was talking to someone the other day, and they said, I said, how long is a stallion that you're aware of been around and did that? And then Jim Brown at Blue Chip Farm told me that there's a horse called Big Town who was a very influential sire. Well, he was conceived from the stallion, I think it was Gene Abbey, when he was 32. The sire was 30, and that was natural selection.
There'll be a lot of people not happy to hear that, but in a way that'll be...
Oh, look, I think, like everything catches up.
Doesn't that dispel a lot of theories then?
Well,
Big Town was conceived at 32 years of age.
But the sire was 32.
His dad, his dad was 32 years of age.
Yeah, not his mother.
Don't ever go to a stadium when they're... but don't ever go to a stadium, over 12 or 13. Well, that throws that theory right out the window.
Oh, look, to be honest with you, we love the horse so much, whether he could serve or not. He's going to be loved and looked after no matter what.
He's a beautiful horse. He really is.
He's been a game changer for us, obviously.
And Lather Up is standing in New Zealand for his first season. Actually had his first winner last night at Redcliffe in Australasia.
Yes,
so that's good news. So,
yeah. Well, he's doing pretty well in America at the moment. If you look at the list, he's doing really well. I mean, I think we moved him back because we thought he would probably be better suited in New Zealand this year moving forward. Does it mean we'll put stallions back in Australia again? Yes, obviously we will. Yeah. And it's just getting the right horse, and we just thought this was the best opportunity for the horse to come back here. Yep. We're quietly confident he might be pretty good. Yeah. So he's obviously a super racehorse, and he's and a very attractive horse as well. Leaves a nice type, and it's starting to look like he might be a reasonable sire as well.
When he was retired, he was the equal third fastest horse of all time. Yeah. I think always been Mickey. I can't think of the other horse, actually. Yeah. Doesn't matter. But yeah, he's a super... But one thing I'll tell all the Kiwis, go and see him, because you love betters a lot. Oh, I love Sudsy. He's a cool dude. He has his little issues, but yeah, he has his cool ways. Andrew, thank you. Well done to Harness Racing New Zealand. Well done to the Sire Stakes Board, Entain, and the TAB. I knew there was a third party. Everyone that's got involved with this big announcement. Of course, there's going to be more things coming out tomorrow night in Auckland, but it is so good for the industry. We just need, as the motto says, the future starts now. We need everyone to buy into it and build and grow it.
Yeah, and look, and remember when you're breeding too that at the moment we've just come out of a recession, basically. Probably if you're an old style economist, you would have said it was a depression. And so things are starting to improve, and we're seeing easier monetary policy worldwide. You're breeding now, you're actually going to sell that horse in the future, and that will end up being probably when things
are on the up.
And that's the way you've got to look at it. And I think that with the money coming in as well and things on the up, it's exciting times for the future.
Investment leads to investment.
Yeah,
mate. Thank you.